So suppose that you were tasked with creating an example box or a sidebar or some sort of a thing like that that had, a colored background, some borders. Probably you might have thought in Typefi that you would create that using a Typefi element. And that's still completely a valid option, but with some of the new features with paragraph styles that InDesign has introduced in some of the later versions of InDesign, we have another option. So I'm just going to walk you through both options and show you the pros and cons of each of them. So let's see. So here we go. First, I'm going to run my file that will create it using an element. And then I'm actually going to hop over and start the second one as well. Using paragraph styles. So, all right, so the first one's completed. All right, so this job I ran using an element, and we can actually see it in here. So some of the benefits of using an element would be if you needed to have it be a floating element so that you could use text wrap around it, if you wanted it to be landscape, for instance. But some of the potential drawbacks would be element continuation. Like as you can see here, this one is overset. So if you needed to have a large element continue across pages, that would have to be scripted. And another potential drawback would be with the footnotes, which if we zoom in a little more, you can see that the footnotes in elements do not number consecutively with the footnotes in the main article flow. So you can see this footnote in the element says footnote 1, but if it would scroll to the side, that one actually also says footnote 1. So you've got, footnote 1, footnote 1. Now, you might want your footnotes in your example boxes to be separate, but then you also might not. All right, so then what about the other way? Well, oops, that's not the window I want. Well, I actually already ran this job a second ago, so since I think I managed to close my Chrome window, but I have it right over here, so I'm just going to hop over to the one I already ran, so you don't want to see me looking for it. So if you were to create this same element using paragraph styles, you have some different pros and cons. So some of the potential pros would be, as you can see, this actually is continuing across a page automatically, that's natively, because it's just a paragraph style, so you don't have to worry about scripting it in case it gets overset. Also, you don't have to worry about it possibly getting deferred. If you had it in a float and you had multiple floats, then it might get deferred to another page because they're competing with each other, but this will always be in the correct position in the text. Also, with the footnotes will number, because it's just text, so they're going to number just 1, 2, 3 throughout your document, and you don't have to worry about having a separate footnote numbering scheme. And so basically, this gives you two different ways to do the same thing where it will look the same visually, but you have, depending on your use case and what you need in your content, you can figure out which one's right for you.